You're listening to the Casual Swinger Podcast. As your hosts, we need to warn you that the material you're about to hear may be sexual or explicit in nature. This podcast is intended for an adult audience. Now, we don't expect you to act like adults. What's the fun in that?
We're a married couple living in Florida with over 13 years of experience in the lifestyle, and we take almost nothing seriously. Casual Swinger is a variety show, meaning we'll cover everything from music to events, travel, and even the occasional hilarious screw-up. Our show is about entertainment. We're not licensed professionals.
Not anything.
And our stories, commentary, and guidance should not be confused with the opinions of a licensed professional.
Now that you know, let's take those pants off and get comfy.
Everybody, welcome to Season 4 of Casual Swinger. My name's Mickey.
And I'm Mallory, and I am fucking digging the intro music. That is sexy.
Yeah, every season I try to come
it.
up with something that basically, I'm like, would Mallory bang to this?
Oh,
Then
yeah.
That should be something
Oh,
we should
yes.
play.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Yes. Oh, all the music, all the bass.
It's good.
That's all right.
Awesome.
So, this episode is all about dem titties.
Dem titties. You mean breasts?
Oh, jugs.
Knockers?
Hooters.
Kazongas?
Tatas.
Fun bags?
Tits.
Oh, that's a good one. That was like the George Carlin delivery.
Right,
I
7
love
dirty
it.
words.
Yeah.
How about personal flotation devices?
That's great. Sweater puppies.
Oh, there's a good one too. Chesticles.
What about stress balls?
Hey, those are my favorite. I use yours like stress balls all the time. Hey, you know what my favorite one is for boobies?
What?
Fucking worth it.
I thought it was chesticles.
It's definitely, I love it. It's worth it. So we're going to talk about, this episode is called Thanks for the Mammaries. And this is about Mallory's personal journey toward bigger hooters.
Well, bigger, yes.
Yeah,
But not by a ton. Yeah,
I'm not gonna have like these 2 volleyballs I can smack around at night.
No. I mean, they'll be bigger for sure, but I'm not gonna go like ridiculous, outside of my body frame.
Oh, see, I have this like vision in my head, like Rocky Balboa on the speed bag.
Would you do like boobies that big? I mean, I think you like boobs in general, and I don't know that it matters.
I've been a fan since I was a baby.
Yeah. So
Little
no.
kid, love them.
No, we're going to talk about breast augmentation.
We are.
So,
We're going to talk about your personal journey, too. So we're
Yeah.
not going to bring on a doctor this time.
Nope.
We're not going to do any serious medical mumbo-jumbo. We're going to talk about just kind of what it took for Mal to get there. But before we do, let's talk about Season 4 a little bit. What to expect in Season 4, where we going, of course, the new music that made you
I was
going to
say the sexy intro music that I'm over here like just moving my hips around in circles. Yeah, I dig it. You did wonderful.
Why, thank you, ma'am.
Yeah, I think with the state of the union right now, I think we can plan on some travel here in Season 4. At least I hope so.
Maybe one day we'll get to see a Canadian again. That would be pretty cool.
I know. That would be nice.
Whenever they furlough the Canadians and let them leave.
We did get a preview right at PCAP.
We did.
Which was nice.
2 sets.
Yeah.
2 whole sets of Canadians.
I think
they were the only ones allowed to leave. And if they came back alive, they'll send out a 3rd.
Oh my gosh.
No?
It's
like zombie apocalypse.
How that works.
Now, so we are going to travel a little bit. We've got a bunch of things coming on. We just got home from a couple trips. We're going to talk about that in a hot second. But, I think what to expect in Season 4 is we're going to just try and have fun with you guys. Everything's been such a shit show. It's been so fucking serious. So we're going to have some fun. We're going to make stupid jokes. Basically more Casual Swinger, but maybe a little extra. I don't know. I'm trying to think of what I'm going to have done to me in Season 4 because, I had my, my dick shot up this Season 3. I had my asshole waxed in Season 2. What do you guys think I should do in Season 4?
Oh, God. I just can't even. I don't know what to expect from you.
Maybe I'll go skydiving and I'll record it like all the way to the ground.
That is all you. I'll meet you on the ground.
Might be my last episode.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe I'll have to continue on without you. You have to teach me how to edit this shit. Newsflash, Mallory does not do that part.
No, that would be Mickey's job.
Yeah.
But hey, speaking of music, we did some fun shit this weekend. What did we do?
Hell yeah, we did. We went and saw one of my favorite bands, Whiskey Myers, who was opening for Jamie Johnson, who was also amazing, but I am a huge Whiskey Myers fan.
Yes. By the way, that was Jamie Johnson, not Jimmy Johnson, because Jimmy Johnson is a old fat retired coach.
I was thinking Jimmy Dean. I was like,
Jimmy Dean makes
sausage.
All right.
Just kidding.
Your inner big girl's like,
I
sausage.
know. I think I skipped lunch today because I just had dinner and I'm still hungry.
Oh, I don't know. Is that your inner big girl or your inner whore? Because sausage.
Probably both.
Okay.
I'm in a weird spot right now.
You are, okay, all these hormones and shit.
Yeah,
but we went and saw Whiskey Myers, who we love.
Did with some really good friends of ours, Slightly Sophisticated and 813 Mischief.
God, what
local
like
wonderful
4 insanely
peeps.
hot people.
Yeah,
they're really fun to hang around. I just love being around those guys.
It's so great. And then the weekend before we were in Iowa, right?
Iowa. Everybody knows we wax poetic about it. And it's not the state, by the way. So much fucking corn. I've never seen all that much corn in my life. It was crazy.
Yeah, and you were talking about the how they dip corn in liquid latex to make dildos out of it.
I don't think the other people in the restaurant thought that was funny.
No, and I think they believed you that that's what they really do up there. And
well, maybe they do. There is probably some corn-fed piece of ass up there that is literally dipping corn cobs in latex and selling them as dogs. I don't
think so.
Think about it. Everyone's a different size. It's a new adventure every time.
Oh my gosh. How much caffeine have you had? Because I don't feel like I've had enough. We're not matching.
Right. Get on my level.
Yeah. Like a squirrel on acid.
I really did have fun in Iowa, though.
I did too, but what I was trying to say before you rudely interrupted me and went down your K-hole here is that I look around and I feel so grateful that there's wonderful people in our lives like that. And it's just such a good feeling.
It really is. I mean, and what we're talking about is we're talking about the corn-fed swingers, the swingers of the corn.
Well, an A13 must just been slightly stupid. I'm not just... Come on.
Slightly sophisticated, not slightly stupid.
Is a band.
That's a band.
That's it, kids. I'm out.
Mallory's done here.
Freaking done for the day. This is why you have to get me early in the day. It's like my bedtime right now. I'm uncaffeinated. I'm sober.
I can't wait till they listen to this episode and go, Slightly Stupid. Really?
Slightly Stupid's actually a really good band. Sorry.
I'm going to leave that in, too, because it was awesome.
Anyway.
So, yeah, but no, they are wonderful. I mean, they were all great, but I really can't thank Derek and Jess enough because they did, bring us into their home and they took us out on their boat and did all kinds of other fun stuff. So it was just a great 4th of July.
Yeah, it was wonderful. We had a blast.
And I mean, we weren't here for the fireworks to annoy our dogs and drive us crazy.
I know.
We left the kids with that.
We made our kids do it because we're awesome parents.
Yeah. Well, anyway.
Anywho.
I guess this thing will go on forever because we just like talking to each other.
Yeah. Well, I was trying to say that, I'm just grateful because I'm a total dork and they tolerate me and they let me act a fool.
It did.
More my age than my IQ.
It was so much fun.
It was great.
Hey, we swam in the Mississippi and did all that fun
don't
shit.
brag about that. We'll have to go get a cancer screening or something.
Say, what is that floating past me? Just don't
I
ask.
told people at work that. They're like, ew. I didn't know it was a thing.
Yeah, I totally did it. I don't care. And I'm still here. I mean, I have like 11 toes now.
I think I drank some of the water.
Is that what's been wrong with you ever
since? Maybe that's
wow.
why I've been in distress.
Well, look, we had so much positive feedback on that last episode of season 3. We got to give you guys some love. Thank you for everyone that reached out. Not only that told us about how you've taken control of your hormone health with your own doctors, because a lot of you have reached out and talked to us about your own journey with hormone health. But a lot of you have been reaching out, trying to find out how to get a hold of Dr. Phillips. By all means, reach out to us. We'll set you guys up. He does do remote consultations and can review your labs with you over the phone. So if you want to talk to our guy, by all means, we'll hook you up. It was just really, really cool. I'm so grateful to have seen all these messages from you guys. It validates the shit out of what we do because it means something to you. It means we're talking about things that matter to our friends and listeners out there, and I love that.
Yeah, it makes us feel less like narcissists and egomaniacs.
You mean because we're sitting in a room by ourselves and recording it?
Yes.
Yeah, that's not narcissistic at all. All right, so how about Shark Week?
So ironically, I got my period just in time for Shark Week on Discovery Channel. So the universe has a really fine-tuned sense of humor, and I believe is targeting me specifically.
Oh, yeah, I believe it. And me. It definitely impacted me.
So the sexy weekend turned into...
Slut fail.
Yeah, epic slut fail. It is what it is. I wish, especially that first day and a half, that mentally I could get in that space to where I'm still supercharged and horny, which will be really that'll start tomorrow. Where the roller coaster's still shut down, but my body's like, yeah, give me some.
Just in time for me to be in San Jose for the week.
Yeah, I know, right? Well, and because the theme park's not shut down and I wanted to feel sexy, I just can get my mental spaces there. And it's that 24 to 48 hours. Like,
perfect timing.
Yeah, I know.
Well, and you said the theme park's not shut down, and that's not bullshit because you said the roller coaster was closed, and I'm like, fine, the log flume's open, let's get to work. And you were like, mm-mm.
Well, everyone, I'm not even going to have an anal conversation with you right now.
No one will let me have anal.
Have you seen the size of your dick? It's
fun for the whole family.
No. Don't want my butthole to look like a manhole cover. Moving on.
Hey.
So we sold a lot of condoms.
Oh, shit.
By the way.
We sold an ass load of condoms. We got our largest condom order ever, which we love you guys for. Thank you so much. We got an order for 80 packs. There's 3 to a pack. That's 240 condoms.
Wow, that's a lot of sex.
Someone is going to get laid.
I hope a lot of someone's many times.
Well, we'll be
if that's
there.
for someone to have sex, that's, that's a lot.
He bought like several. I think he bought 20 of every kind, 20 of every package.
Shit.
It just, what a amazing thing for somebody to do. And they actually bought them for the Rachel's Rascals trip coming up in November. They are a rascal, and they wanted to actually share. They like these condoms so much they wanted to share them with people and show them off and get people to try them because they're a premium product, and maybe people aren't going to spend $8 to $10 on a pack of condoms.
I totally understand that because it is a gamble at that price point. So it makes sense. It's a perceived value thing.
Yeah. So I love that he did that. I thought it was the coolest thing ever. And he did it for people because he really wants them to try them, which I just thought was pretty awesome. And something else, I actually had to order more Uberlube. We sold so much of it.
So great. And when I travel back to the Midwest, I really want to go visit those nice folks that make Uberlube. In Illinois.
Skokie, Illinois. Surprised you didn't say it. It's one of your favorite words.
Yeah, that and Ypsilanti.
And dongle.
Yeah. Holy Toledo. Anywho.
A shout out to our friends at Daisy Corsets. Love those guys.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, have you seen all the bikinis that have been on Twitter?
So many new
bikinis.
Dude,
I don't know what we did to deserve that, but it was like someone posted something, and then all I know is like hot chicks in bikinis. All over my Twitter feed.
It was very exciting.
An awesome day.
It really was. And I mean, first of all, the women are beautiful. I mean, almost they're all, I mean, everyone's beautiful in the lifestyle. We love all of you, but those of you that have been modeling our bikinis and stuff and showing off some of the things you've gotten from Casual Toys just make our hearts want to explode.
And other things.
And other things.
I'm not going to lie, I was a total pervert.
But those corsets have really, really taken off. We've gotten a bunch of traction on those corsets, and people are pairing them with the Kixies, which everybody loves.
Oh, yeah.
And it's just so hot.
And it's so easy to do. And they have, I mean, there's stuff that runs the traditional gamut, right? The burlesque, pinup sexy, and then the boudoir, style. And there's some really interesting creative things. Like I love the tie-dye Kixies or the splash color Kixies. And there's some of these halvesy corsets that kind of remind you of like an EDM festival.
That's hot.
And some of them paired together are just cute as shit.
Yes, they
sexy as fuck.
We're going to have to put some bundles together on that stuff. Maybe that'll be in the Mallory approved section here soon for you.
I want to model. Well, since I don't show my face, okay, because I'm so old. Which I'm not, but
why you just say that? It's like
I know I'm not,
and you don't even feel it 40. With all these hormones coursing through your body now.
No, I feel like my body feels like it's 25.
Yeah,
it's just what the fuck all the time, except for 2 days out of the week. I didn't hear you because I was still talking. So
I said your vagina feels young too. Jeez,
my vagina feels what?
Young,
is
in hot.
Okay. Well, that's a good thing. Yeah. I'll take that.
All right. Why don't you tell folks from your perspective what this episode's about, and we'll bounce out of here for a minute and come back.
Okay. So this is kind of a big deal. I think pretty much the length of time I've known you, but seriously over the last 10 years, I have personally been considering breast augmentation. And I've vacillated back and forth. Just thinking about it made me feel vapid or vain. So it took me a long time to have that internal conversation with myself. Doing all the research, kind of coming to terms with it. And the net of it is I have surgery booked for 2021.
Hot damn.
I made a decision. But this was a journey. So I wanted to kind of share my journey so far, or the road so far, and give you guys updates as I get closer to my surgery date, post-surgery, my experiences, because that's something that, not that I was lacking, but just the information available, someone not a lot of people are willing to share a bunch of information because it is kind of personal.
Very.
And then when you find, there's so much information on the internet, but by the time you read, 1% of it, you have conflicting information. So anyway, we're going to get into my upcoming breast augmentation and share some details with you guys, stuff I've learned.
There we go. So maybe that's what we'll do. We'll just broadcast live from the room while Mallory's getting her boobs.
No. No, that's not happening.
Okay.
Because you're going to pass out. You can't do surgery.
Mm-mm.
You will pass out.
Especially with
I tried to show you how they place the implant.
No.
And you went stark white. I didn't even show you anything. I just told you I was going to, and I thought you were going to pass out.
Yeah, don't ruin my love for fun bags by making them see them bloody. Nope, not okay.
Okay.
No. They are beautiful things. Well, why don't you tell everybody where to find us like they don't know,
Sure.
but maybe it's changed in season 4. So tell everybody where to find us. We'll come back with your story of your beautiful tatas.
All right, guys, we're Casual Swinger everywhere. Look us up at casualswinger.com. You can email us at podcast@casualswinger.com. If you would like to find us on social media, we're on Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. And you want to check us out on the dating sites, that is Cassidy, SLS, Double Date Nation, and SDC.
Okay, that'll do it. We'll be back in just a minute. You've been listening to Casual Swinger.
And we're back. You're listening to Casual Swinger. I'm Mallory.
And I am Mickey.
And we're going to talk boobs.
I love boobs.
I know you do. They're your favorite.
They are.
I think you're definitely a boob guy over an ass guy.
Yeah, probably. I mean, don't get me wrong. I love both ends. I like to see you coming and going, but...
Same.
See what I did
that.
there?
Yeah.
Coming.
Yeah. So this is going to be a personal journey. So I may stumble a little bit here.
A Journey of Self-Discovery by Mallory Gordon, Casual Swinger.
Oh, cue the chimes. So I've learned so much that I feel compelled to share, and I'm hoping some of this information is beneficial to anyone out there
who's thinking about having their bolt-ons done.
Yeah, because it's really funny. I mean, I learned a lot, and I thought, with all the surgery shows that I love to watch and being in the medical field, that I knew everything I needed to ostensibly, and that's not the truth. And I actually learned not only more about the procedures and all the intricacies and caveats and different flavors, but, about myself.
Yeah, mostly. I mean, you've avoided doing this because you've always been you were a nurse when I met you. So.
Yeah, I mean, I've avoided thinking about it. Like, that thought in and of itself was a little unnerving to me because it really identified that I didn't want to speak out loud how negatively I felt about myself and my body. Because, I mean, as a whole, I do feel confident. Everyone has their good days and bad days. I'm not, safe from that. It happens to me too. But overall, I'm not unhappy with myself. But it's definitely something I've always structured my life around. Like, I'll look at a dress and go, you know what, though? It's so, like, skinny spaghetti strap, and I wouldn't feel comfortable without a bra. And it's just autonomic. But I didn't realize how much I had been doing those things over time. Like, my boobs were actually an issue for me, and I never wanted to talk about it. And I don't think they're bad. I like my boobs. My boobs are fine. There's really aesthetically nothing wrong with them. But I want to love them. And I had to come to terms with, hey, that's okay. That doesn't make you vain or vapid or a shitty human being. It's okay to feel that way. And it's actually okay to do things for yourself too, right? Because it's an extravagance, right?
It is, but at the same time, I think there's people out there that go and get veneers on their teeth because it's something that's always bothered them, or maybe get their hairline redone, or plugs for guys, or any number of things that just kind of renew your. Maybe just take away, not instead of renewing. Maybe let me rephrase that: take away the obstacles to you putting yourself out there. I think that's what our things that we're self-conscious about do. They keep us from putting ourselves out there and being ourselves in front of people.
Yeah, sure. Maybe a little bit. And, maybe it's just one of those things, like if I'm wearing a top and a bottom, I'm always feeling better about taking off my bottoms than I do my top. How weird is that? How do I even know this?
I'm exactly the same way, but that's just because I have a beer belly.
Whatever. But also, I mean, it's an elective surgery, so that's always been in the back of my mind. Anytime you go under general anesthesia, you take on a risk. And so I kind of justified like not even considering it and doing any more research or having further conversations for that reason. But I think it was just an excuse, like superficial, to keep me from talking about everything else. And I was also afraid, like, if I really got serious about it, maybe my partner, maybe you wouldn't like the idea or like my new boobs if I got them.
I'm really glad that you told our listeners that I was your partner, because I know they were still trying to figure that shit out.
Sorry.
And I just would like to point out that I rub your feet. So if I rub your feet, chances are I'm going to love your tits.
I know you hate feet so much.
I'm not a fan.
And you rub them like once every 3 years.
That's more than I'd like.
Yeah. You make my feet sound like they're disgusting.
Well, they're not disgusting because they're yours. They're just feet.
Yeah, feet aren't delicious. I get that. That's okay. I mean, I don't mind them. I'm indifferent.
Hey, one man's trash is another man's treasure. There's a guy out there right now going, I will rub Mallory's feet every day.
Yeah.
So by all means, guys, line up.
So here I am sitting here with you today, and I have a surgery date. But, you know, building up to this, you and I had a lot of conversations before I decided to go down this road. And you've been very, very supportive in it. And what I wanted to do, and correct me if I'm wrong here, call me on my shit, is I wanted to have a scout mentality. Because you kept saying, you know, if this is something we want to do, I fully support you. You know, I think you're going to end up wanting to do this. And I didn't want to go into it with that mentality. I wanted to find out the information and make an informed decision. I didn't want to go into this looking for the right answers and just seeking affirmation. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, and for me, I had to approach this pragmatically. I wanted the high level details, you know, tell me exactly who you are, what you do, why you're the best at it. What are the risks? Why do you want to do it this way? And then I decide, is that what I want? Mm-hmm. You know, and maybe that was a little backwards in some ways. But, you know, my mentality was, you know, I can go into my hairdresser and show her a hairstyle and a hair color that I think is amazing. But it doesn't mean that it's going to fit my hair length, texture, or anything like that. Like it may not be achievable. And that's kind of how I felt about considering augmentation. I may have an idea in my head, but I don't know if that's executable.
I think from my perspective, I guess I thought that there were facts out there about this and we would go find out the facts. And what surprised me is how much opinion and how much personal, you know, just personal slant comes into this, because we talked to so many different doctors and we got so many different answers. Basically, every doctor had a different answer or a different approach or a different impression or vision of what a attractive breast looked like.
Sure.
And it was weird. Like it was like we were subject. We had to find the one that agreed with what our vision looked like.
Right. Or we'd have funny conversations where like, well, what do you want to look like? And I'd show them a picture like, yeah, your boobs will never.
Yeah. No, not going to happen.
I was like, okay, then why ask me? What's the point?
Why don't you tell us what you're capable of?
I know. It was fascinating though. And there was points where I was a little discouraged and going, you know what though, at the same time, I'd rather know than not know. And maybe this isn't for me. I wanted to go in and going, I could walk away from this not getting augmentation. Mm-hmm. And I was fine with that. I wanted to fucking know at that point. And there is so much information out there, and a lot of it does slant by opinion and popular opinion. There's so much research out there, because everything like from like implant warranty to which implant type or brand manufacturer is associated with capsular contracture, which we'll get into what that is, that I learned all about.
That's the demon in the room, the big scary thing under the bed.
Right. That is one of the long-term effects that, you know, you want to consider as a potential, you know, con.
Right. But I think it's also the way that they throw FUD, right? Because if they have a particular way that they do things, it's funny because they both kind of said that the way they do it prevents capsular contracture. But we'll talk about that in a little bit.
Well, I didn't even say they prevent it. It becomes a single-digit percentage of likelihood.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway,
I kind of found it all to be very subjective and very opinion oriented, and I just didn't expect that. When you came to me about getting consults, I really thought we were going to go get concrete, finite information, and that's definitely not what happened.
No, there ended up being more variables in the conversations than we anticipated. It gave us a lot to think about, and I mean everything from, you know, implant type to placement to 3, 5, 7 years post-op. Like there's a ton of information out there. So if you've never considered it before, here's kind of like the overview of what we learned.
Well, surgeons are fucking narcissists. We did figure that out because they all acted like their approach was the approach. and they were the smartest guy in this. I mean, every one of them made it sound like every other surgeon was an idiot.
Yeah, but everyone's arrogance was different.
Yes.
There was a different flavor of arrogance. Some of it was understated. Some of it was really brazen and gregarious. Some of it was just like, I'm confident. I'm to the point, and
right.
It's your decision to
Every
make.
titty in Central Florida is mine.
Yeah.
Okay, Mufasa.
Yeah. I mean, we saw some really, really reputable folks.
We did.
So anyway, let's give the listeners just a kind of rundown of the things we learned about breast augmentation before we get into the doctors.
Do it.
Okay. So there's essentially just two types of implants right now. There's saline and there's silicone. So the saline are silicone shell that are empty when they're placed into the breast pocket, right? A pocket's created for the implant to go into. And then they're filled with essentially salt water. So the silicone ones, and now from everything I've read and the doctors that we've talked to, are the gummies, what they refer to. So the silicone is not in a liquid state. It stays together like a gummy bear. If you were to cut a gummy bear in half, it's still in a solid state.
Sure. If it ruptures, it doesn't leak.
However, fascinating, when you actually feel the implant, it doesn't feel solid per se. It feels like there's texture to it. They're not as heavy as I anticipated them to be, right? Because when I think jelly silicone, I'm thinking of like
a dildo.
Oh, pervert. I was thinking of my grandmother's Jell-O mold.
Oh.
Gross.
Not your grandmother's dildo.
No, definitely not.
Okay.
So that was really interesting, and come to find out, by the way, they don't use textured implants. Used to be like all the hype back in the day, and they actually are banned now because of the likelihood of capsular contracture now and infection.
Oh,
and
well,
infection.
I could see that. I mean, we actually got to touch a couple of textured ones at one of the doctor's consults.
Yeah, they're like, they don't even.
It was weird.
They're like, these are illegal now. I was like, am I going to get arrested for holding this? Why do you have it, you psycho?
Fun fact, and I don't know if I told you this because I didn't want to scare you during one of our consults, but my mother actually had a ruptured silicone implant from the early days, and it ruptured and leaked completely. It went completely flat inside her, and she ended up with lupus.
Yeah, and they say today, like, that the silicone, even back then, there's nothing that identifies it as causing lupus. There's never been a medical
they can't tie it to it, but it did happen.
So, but apparently the silicone is super safe. It's super stable. They come with all these warranties. You can even get like an extended warranty for your car in it. Get this. This is a pro tip. The last doctor we saw said, hey, depending on the manufacturer, get the extra insurance. It's like $150 right up front. You just pay for it and you have it forever. And it's tied to this little credit card that you get. It's like, it's not an actual credit card, but it's a serial number for your tatas, so that you have that forever, because there's a certain amount of warranty to them, right? And you get this extended one. So if something happens and that capsular contracture happens, the manufacturer will pay for everything on like all the redo, the new implants, the anesthesia, like it's all covered. So I found that really neat.
I thought that was brilliant, actually, that they offer an extended warranty. And I wonder if they're going to call us every couple of days and say, have you thought about the warranty on your breasts? We've been trying to reach you about the warranty on your breasts.
About your implants, extended warranty.
I don't know. The thing I loved about the gummy bears, though, is that if they do rupture for some reason, let's say you get in a car wreck,
they stay. They don't leak.
Yeah, they don't leak. It just kind of bubbles
already said
out.
That.
But I think that is really worthwhile. I know you said it.
It is, but it's hard to tell if they have ruptured. With saline, you can tell because it slowly deflates.
Yes.
Or immediately deflates in some cases, depending on how traumatic that leak is.
And that comes into the every so often maintenance, just going and having a picture taken of your tits.
Right, and it's salt water, essentially. So your body will absorb it. Everything will be fine. Yada, yada, yada. So saline, by the way, only goes under the muscle because of it's in a fully liquid state, and you'll get rippling.
Oh, that's why they get the ripples on the sides.
Right. So the silicone ones can be put under or over the muscle, and we'll get into that now. So under and over the muscle, they both have their own terms. So submuscular literally means under the muscle. So this is the most common method that people are using. So they're creating a pocket under your pectoral muscle. And these surgeons have two different methods. It's called a dual plane. And depending on your size, shape, the implants, they can cut the muscle in a specific way to place the implant there for the new pocket, right? And how they cut the muscle is determined by, those factors plus more that I can't name right now, but it's called dual planing. And the reason they started doing under the muscles for back with the saline that would ripple, and they also figured that it had less likelihood of 1, infection, and 2, capsular contracture. So the other method is subglandular, which means it actually occupies a space between your muscle and your mammary gland, your actual breast tissue. This was popular when they first started doing breast implants, and they stopped doing them because of the look, the longevity, some of the issues with them. But they're starting to come back with this methodology, especially with the silicone gummies now. They're not right for every patient per se, but there are doctors that are using this methodology more than they were 10 years ago. And
that's not the one that we thought of for you, though, because, I mean, when you and I were talking about it, we were like, wait a minute, like, what's going to feel more natural, like under the muscle or under where your boob tissue is? Because if it's under your boob tissue, that's just logically to me, and that would be Glandular?
Yes. So that's where your breast tissue is. It's between your glands, right? Your mammary glands and
the nipple.
Your muscle, right? So it does make logical sense that you would put something in that space because that's where the tissue exists.
Feel like a normal boob.
However, now if you have a really petite girl, I'm of healthy size and weight. I wouldn't call myself skinny. And I wouldn't call myself petite. Well, no, skinny. Like think, we know plenty of skinny girls. I can't name them all. I was thinking I was going to name off 3 of them. I was like, I'm just going to out a bunch of my friends right now. That'll be great. Hey, world, these guys are all swingers.
And they've got a bony ass.
But exactly, like maybe they're a size 0 and 5'7". Like they don't have a lot of body fat to them. So in some of those cases, under the muscle is going to be the best aesthetic for them. And being under the muscle, it does hold the breast more specifically in that spot because you essentially think about it as a rubber band per se, or an exercise band. Maybe that's a better way of putting it because they're wider, and that's how your pectoral muscles are placed and cut to hold it in place. So, and I have some body fat. Yeah, like you can pinch me and get something between your fingers.
Hey.
So anyway, but that's one of the another reasons that method was adopted. Now, I'm finding it interesting that the subglandular, not a lot of people do it. It is picking up, again, interest, but not a lot of people do it because they're afraid of the additional
Well, hello there, casual swinger listeners. This is Kate from the Podcastapalooza events, and I'm here to tell you about our PCAP Encore event. Unfortunately, Mickey and Mallory from Casual Swinger can't join us, but we are heading to Dallas in November from the 5th to the 8th for a 3-night full hotel takeover. We're heading back for PCAP Encore, and we would love to invite the Casual Swinger listeners to join us on site. If you're interested in shibari classes, erotic sip and paint, sensual massages, couples yoga, seminars from some fantastic content creators, drag bingo, we've got the works, we've got a club visit happening as well, and as I said, it is an exclusive full hotel takeover. If you're interested in that, head to podcast-a-palooza.com and come out and support the amazing content creators. We had so much fun in Miami that we can't wait to come back again for a smaller, more intimate event, this time round for PCAP Encore. And of course, if you guys are die-hard Casual Swinger fans, don't worry, we've got something for you guys coming in 2022. We have got some things up our sleeve, and we know that Mickey and Mallory are fantastic, and we can't wait to have them come back and join us again for another PCAP event. So thanks to you guys, thanks to all the Casual Swinger listeners. We love you guys. We can't wait to have Mickey and Mallory back again, and we hope to see you guys soon.
Cons, I guess, that come with it, right? And some of the hate that it's gotten previously from, obviously when augmentation at its inception, they were using it. When I think about 70s and 80s boob jobs, I have the same picture that probably everybody else did.
Yeah, I saw a lot of them in my dad's magazines.
Exactly. So now we have implant type, we have implant placement, and then you have incision decisions. gonna
there's
ache.
a lot of decisions that
I
go into getting a
know.
new set of hoots.
Dude, so much information here. So in my head, I went into these and I'm like, oh, I get to decide. I'm going to do under the muscle silicone and I'm going to have them go in through the armpit. Guess what?
Wrong on
You
almost
can't-
all accounts.
You can't do that. Well, you can do the first two. So the armpit one, like that goes like from the side over here, the axial incision, you can only do this with saline implants because they're put in unfilled. So they actually take the shell, put the incision on the side under your armpit, slip the shell into the pocket, and then they inflate it.
Oh, like a balloon.
Right. You can't, they will not place a silicone implant from the side there because there's just not enough space, I guess, and it's not a good position to pull a fully engorged implant into your body.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. But it's a nice small incision too.
It is. It's a nice small incision. The next one that's also, can be hidden pretty well is inframammary, which is under your boob, like the boob fold.
Okay.
Have you? It's a wider incision to allow for space to put
A full
implant in, but you can do saline there too. You can do saline in any of these incisions, but they're more commonly used for silicone ones.
Sure.
And under the boob does hide the scarring well. And this day and age with all the additional creams and laser treatments, I would be surprised if there's much scarring unless you're prone to like big keloid scars per se. So I thought that was interesting. And
really cool.
And then they have the circular one, the areolar. I always say that wrong. Around the areola. So the outside, the outer ring so you have your nipple, which is the tip, the colored part of the areola. So they just do a little circle.
Put a little halo around your nipple.
Nipple out with your
That's
nerve
where he
endings.
lost me when he's like, we take your nipple off. I'm like,
Yeah.
Whoa, what?
Well, they pull it to the side because there's all these nerve endings and whatnot. And they do that when they're trying to do the breast lift as well. And they're using it to kind of gather skin in from that place. So not an anchor method, which we'll get into here in a minute. But if they want to pull some skin in to give you a little bit of a lift, they'll do it that way as well, which I didn't know that.
Well, and correct me if I'm wrong, but the doctor that pioneered, the hands-free placement of these and the subglandular, that dude's dead, but he's from Central Florida.
Wow. We were here, then we went all the way up there, and then all the way down here.
That's what I do. Funny,
So
dark.
this is actually really important. The hands-free technique is a newer technique for breast augmentation, and it's really cool. It's reduced infection and capsular contracture rates significantly. And what it is they take a silicone implant that's been sanitized. If you've ever watched a baking show or baked yourself, if I say piping bag, do you know what that is? It's
You're not asking me. You're asking our listeners.
So it's a tapered bag that has a small hole on one end and a large hole on the other one. So they put the sanitized implant in. The tapered end goes into the breast pocket and they roll it until it squirts out into the pocket. So the surgeon never actually touches it with his hand. That doesn't reach into your breast tissue, into your body with his hands to place it. So there's less interaction. And in the surgery world, the less touches you have, even fully sanitized with your gloves on, with all the instruments and everything, the less touches you have, the less likelihood infection and foreign objects are to be placed in there.
That's kind of brilliant.
Right. No, it's fascinating, and I encourage anyone who's interested or has been thinking about breast augmentation to go watch this. It's the hands-free implant
Baker
placement.
method, right?
It's the Baker method. He also helped to coin the Baker scale, which measures capsular contracture. So a lot of times they recommend breast lifts, and I didn't know this. I wasn't even considering a breast lift with implants.
Well, is it because they want to sell you something and make more money? Is that usually what it is?
I hate to say this, but it's got to be a factor.
Yeah.
To
it's a
upsell
whole
you
other
on it.
surgery.
Well, and I believe they are the artist, right? And they are the professional. They are the trusted advisor in their practice and in their field, right?
Right. But most people aren't us. Most people aren't naked all the time like you are.
I know, and I get this, but I also don't look at my boobs and see sagging. I look at my boobs and go, I had a baby 17 years ago. I have less body fat than I did in my 20s.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, an additional 17 years of gravity has probably played a part. But they don't look misshapen. My nipples aren't pointing downward. So when it was recommended at our very, very first consult to consider a breast lift specifically because of potential deformities down the road, which that set off a red light, like siren in my head, to do so, I shirked it off. I said I would rather forego augmentation than do a breast lift. The breast lift photos and research I had done at that point were all the anchor ones. So an anchor breast lift means not only do they cut around the areola and try to gather excess in there, but they draw, it's almost like an upside down T where they go from the bottom of your areola to the bottom of your boob fold and gather skin in there as well. And like you said, we're naked a lot and we're naked in front of the public. And for me, that was a deal breaker. I don't want the scarring.
Yeah.
You know, and at that point, if I can't get what I want the way I want it, then it's okay.
Just don't do it at all.
No love lost. I'm just going to move on.
Yeah.
And that's fine with me. And his reasoning was the deformity. Well, that's one of it. Well, we learned about these deformities, which the third doctor actually confirmed. There's something called a waterfall or a Snoopy deformity. This happens when a woman gets breast implants under the muscle with no breast lift. And maybe the breast lift was needed or will be needed down the road.
So the titty just slides off the implant.
Kind of. Or if the implants were quote unquote large enough, some people try to correct it by extra large implants so that the skin stretches so far that it doesn't sag for a very, very long time, if at all. So it looks like a Snoopy nose. Essentially, your nipple and the skin at the tip of your boob looks like it's falling off the boob, like melting. Picture that. Like the tip of your boob is kind of melting.
So if Michael Jackson had tits, that would have happened.
Maybe. Yeah, they call it a waterfall Snoopy deformity over time. And it can only be corrected through a lift. And that one usually requires the anchor method. And you know what? I got to thinking about it when we got back, and I was like, I'm not 40 yet. And if I got my boobs down, and in 20 years I wanted them done, maybe I won't care about having that scar. I do today, and I feel comfortable in that decision because I wanted to backtrack. Part of me wanted to backtrack. I'm like, but how much do I want this? Am I willing to sacrifice what I already said I didn't want to still do it? Does that make sense? Okay. Because I thought it was, I am a little crazy, but I thought it was insane because I started negotiating with that. And like, no. I made this decision. I need to stick with it.
Yeah, and I think you've made good decisions about this because if you guys haven't picked this up yet, there's a lot of data out there, and the data is different depending on what doctor you talk to, so you really should do your own research. But what I think we should probably cover here before we get too far into this is the one big one, which is capsular contracture.
Yeah, I know I've said it a bunch.
Every doctor talked about it.
Yeah, and I had no idea what it was, and I've said it like 17 times already. So this is definitely the biggest consideration I've personally had in the decisions I'm making about my boob job. So when you have surgery and there's a foreign body put into your body, it's natural that your body recognizes this and goes, hey, that's foreign. So it forms a protective capsule around it. And this tissue capsule is usually soft, maybe slightly firm, usually not noticeable. And it helps to keep, in this case, the implant in place. So you want that pocket to heal, and you want your body to do what it's supposed to do, right? Create this little capsule around it. Now, in capsular contracture, what happens is that layer, that capsule becomes hardened, and it starts to squeeze the implant so much so that it's tightened, and it moves it. It can move it upward to the side, and it can look stressed and rippled because of it. And there's no identifying markers that say if you're of a certain age or of a certain ethnicity, or if you had a certain methodology, with the exception of submuscular and subglandular. That's the only differentiator that they have been able to point at. Or if you get keloid scars, nothing says you're more or less likely to experience this. The only one is if you get subglandular implants, that you go from a single to a double-digit percentage. And it's kind of a sliding scale, and that scale does depend from doctor to doctor.
But by double digits, you mean like 10 to 12%, not
on
60.
average. So on average, the research that I've been able to do, 10 to 12, 10 to 15% on the high end.
Because we did have a doctor tell us.
We did have
60%.
a doctor tell us it was 60% likelihood with that placement that it could experience.
He pulled that out of his ass.
I couldn't find the data. He seemed well informed. I've messaged them. I haven't heard back because I wanted to find out where that 60% number came from, because that would have definitely been another factor. And
I think if it's really 60%, you just wouldn't do this. I mean,
see, and that's kind of where I was at. Looking into doctors across the country, right? Because travel surgery was a thing there for a minute.
Sure.
What their rates were for that kind of stuff. And I'm just fucking flat out asked. It was blunt dialogue. I just wanted to ask, hey, I hear you do this. What is your CC rate? Because if it's bad, if 60% of your patients are experiencing this, I don't think you'd be in business.
Do you think they'll tell you? Do you think they'll be honest about it?
Yeah.
That's the other question. I mean,
well, that's a good point. But do you think they'd be in practice? I
just think maybe they'd have a bad Google review or something.
Yeah, that's true.
Right. OnlyFans reviews on boobies.
That's an excellent point. I guess you're right. But I mean, I had some come back with, 7%, 12%, 3%, 2%. Like, some people did answer me. Mm-hmm. But you're right. That data could be totally skewed.
So what direction are you going?
So as we sit here today, this is the direction I'm going. I found a wonderful doctor. We're going to do subglandular. I know we just talked about it and it sounds crazy, but I think it's going to be the best option for my body, the results I want. I think they're going to look and feel the natural that I see and want. And I think that they're going to age with me, if that makes sense. Like, it's going to fill up the volume, but still, kind of look like they're my boobs and not a boob job, if that makes sense. So I'm really excited about it. I'm going to have the incision under the boob, the inframammary, which is fine with me. And it's going to take some additional aftercare. So when you have subglandular implants, you typically want to wear the bra, the compression bra they give you with these side pads sometimes. I don't know if I'll need them or not until after surgery for additional few weeks, just to make sure that breast pocket, because you don't have the muscle holding it there, is formed and is positioned correctly. So it does take a little more cognition post-operatively.
Yeah, the weird part for me was this is the first time that I've ever watched other guys play with your tits, and it wasn't sexy.
Oh my gosh, that was the best part. So I have like the details of every appointment lined out, and I won't get into the nitty gritty of it. But everyone's methodology for trying to show you how you look with boobs was different. So the first doctor, who was the most recognized and well reviewed, was like a potato. So we did not hit it off whatsoever. But I believe him that he's a master at what he does, but he only does one thing. Mm-hmm. He does augmentation with lift under the muscle, period.
Yep.
It was almost a non-negotiable for him because that is the results that he is comfortable with. He gets praised for it, and that is his clientele type, and that wasn't for me.
He does a lift for everybody.
Yes, he does a lift for everybody, and I'm like, awesome. I'm probably not your girl. Yep. But he was probably an amazing doctor, but in the office, they give me this, like, it looks like an old sports bra, and they had me put the implants in him, right? And I'm standing there, and it's only, 375 cc's.
Yeah, they weren't very big.
They weren't big. And I looked like fucking Dolly Parton. And I tried to move them around. I know. Because they're sitting on top of my boobs. And I'm like, God, this is just the silliest thing ever. No one's going to fucking know what they look like using this. And I looked at them. I was like, is that? They're like, oh, yeah. That's exactly how they look. I was like, I think you're full of shit.
Well, and I think what we realized is almost everyone that goes in for a breast augmentation is concerned about what they look like in their clothes or what they look like in a swimsuit.
Yes, and especially first one, I don't even know if we mentioned to him, but like they couldn't fathom that that's a factor. Like, I'm naked in front of people in public. This is important to me. I want to look good naked. Mm-hmm. And they're like, well, the scarring's not that bad.
You should have told him you were a stripper.
Maybe. I don't know. Maybe that would have made more sense to them. We're like, we're swingers. And we also throw parties naked. And they're like, oh, shit.
Well, and we started doing that with the second doctor. But the second doctor, I brought that up. I was like, look, this is what we do. This is who we are. And to a certain extent, their tune changed a little bit when we did that.
What? The doctor that I actually chose, he was totally cool, clicked, made sense, didn't have any weird questions for us, was like, I understand completely. And in fact, you are not a lift candidate. I would ask you not to do that, even if you don't have surgery with me. And here is why. You don't need it. The fold of your boob where these sagging, and I use quotation marks because it's not actual satin, it's called pseudotosis. Your nipple does not exceed the fold under your boob. So that is one of the markers of needing a breast lift, is if your nipple falls below your breast fold due to loss of volume. If your nipple is pointing south of the equator, let's talk about it, then you'll need a lift. And mine don't do either of those. So that was a little bit refreshing. And of course, I did my research, I fact checked them, and that seems to be a consensus per se, that is what it is. But even with the extra step, we booked a second appointment with him. He goes, if you want to see the imaging of what it could look like with the different implant sizes, we can do that as well.
That was cool. That was straight out of Weird Science.
Yeah, that was amazing. So not only did he have these implants that were shaped like actual breasts and tapered to show you how they would sit in the bra and in your breast pocket, so you had a better idea of what they would look like post-op. He had this vector machine where you stand there and it looks like a tanning bed, like a stand-up tanning bed, and it gets you from all different angles, and then it shows you the shape and the sizes of the different CCs. And hey, newsflash, tits aren't symmetrical. I'm going to need like a few CCs more in one versus the other.
So you're just gonna
I don't know why I didn't.
Perfect pleasure orbs.
Yeah, right.
Your chest.
Yeah, and he was so like precise with it, and he's like, I'll have a couple different ones in there because I'm thinking right now this size is going to be for you. But, that 5 to 10 cc's could make all the difference. So I want to get you, symmetrical as possible. And the fact that was important to him, and he highlighted it and talked about it for at least 5 minutes.
Yeah, that guy loves tits.
He does. He even told us that. The whole reason he's a plastic surgeon was because he never got laid in high school, and he just wanted to show everyone.
You get the last laugh.
Yeah.
Yes, I play with tits all day now. Fuck you.
Yeah, right?
Which was
great.
Awesome.
And then the third doctor was actually wonderful. He's kind of the area's, self-proclaimed.
He looked like Dr.
fixer.
Phil.
He did. But he's the fixer. He gets a lot of patients that come in from botched surgeries, facial, breast augmentation, you name it. And he said he would do my surgery. He only does under the muscle, and I'm a great candidate for subglandular.
Yeah, that was actually refreshing to hear him say.
It was
you
really
actually
refreshing.
are good for this.
Yeah,
but I don't do it.
And he goes, yeah, and it's going to be hard to find anyone around here who does it. And I was like, actually,
we didn't have any trouble finding that.
Well, and so I'm very lucky that if I hadn't had a conversation with a friend of mine who had hers done and knew that was an option, I probably wouldn't have found this doctor, because that he was a recommendation from someone else.
She's been on the show.
She's been on the show, and I'm not going to call her out because I didn't ask.
Your call.
So, but yeah, I get boobs in August, guys.
Yeah, we're gonna have some new hooters up in this bitch. And so how big are you going, out of curiosity?
So right now,
I don't know.
I say I'm a C, but I'm probably a large B, small C at best. So originally a D. A D is kind of where I wanted to be. But we're talking, and I may end up in the low double D, and here's why. The circumference, like the area of my boob, is a little wider. So we may need a wider implant that'll need a few more cc's in there to get the profile that I want. So it may end up being an actual double D, but they won't look audacious on my frame.
So no volleyball titties for men.
No volleyballs. No.
All right.
No, those are no. They need to slip. I like that natural. What do they call it? Slope. I want a natural slope to them.
I think it's going to be fantastic. I'm excited. I love your titties, no matter how you do them.
I'm excited, and I'd be lying if I say I wasn't nervous. It's still surgery. I still hesitant. It's it's an investment. It's not cheap. This is something, we've saved for,
Yeah.
And I really hope they look amazing. I hope they feel amazing. You hold my boobs when we go to bed.
Pretty much
You
every
love my left titty so much.
I do.
That is where your right hand lives.
It's the party tit.
Every night. And I'm not going to lie, I'm a little concerned how you're going to react to the new volume and texture.
I have big hands.
I know you have big hands.
So,
What
which is a
are you gonna
curse. It
do
just
for
makes my
the-
dick look small.
What are you going to do for 3 weeks when you can't?
I'm going to hold my own boob. It's going to be very weird. I'm just going to lay there holding my right breast.
Can I hold them?
No,
Can I be the big spoon?
now we've entered the actual.
Yeah,
weird
I want to
territory.
be the big spoon.
No,
Yes.
that's not okay because you
It's
climb me like a
adorable.
spider monkey and lay on me.
I do.
It's just not okay.
It's adorable.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so I know that there are a couple of myths about this that we want to throw out there before we come back with Toy Box.
Yeah, so in my reading, trying to figure out the research behind all of this stuff that I had questions about, one of the most frequently asked questions is, can I still breastfeed? And hell, I wouldn't have thought about that. I'm not a woman of childbearing age at this point. I'm not thinking about having kids, but it's common. And yeah, you can, because they don't take out your glands and it doesn't sit in front of your glands. So breastfeeding is a non-issue. It does create and obfuscate mammograms, especially with the silicone side, and especially if they're subglandular. You're definitely going to want to pay close attention and go frequently and get not the titty smusher, the other mammogram style.
Titty smusher.
Yeah, the
And by the way,
pancake masher.
Any of you out there that are having kids after 30, send your hate mail to Mallory at
Yeah,
casualswinger.com.
sorry. Well, no, I had my kid young. I was a
I'm
baby
not a woman
when
of
I had my
childbearing
baby.
age anymore. Bitch, you were
No.
young.
I was so young. Yeah, too
Right?
young.
That's right. Be
Yeah.
careful. No swinger babies, okay?
Yeah, no, definitely no swinger babies. Fuck off. Don't even.
All right, what about this? You have to have them like changed or serviced or lubed.
I thought, yeah, so I was looking at like what the residual cost of ownership would be, because that's where my brain's
What's my
at.
long-term TCO here?
So it's fake. You do not have to get them swapped out every 7 to 10 years. Most implants, especially silicone, have a lifetime guarantee, a minimum of 25 to 30 on the implant just of itself. There's a good chance the implant is going to outlive me. In some cases.
Can I still play with it after you're gone?
Now, you still want to go get your mammograms and whatnot, but it doesn't necessarily mean you have to go get them swapped out. Unless you want to change something, there's really not a need for it. So that's a fallacy.
Logical fallacy.
And the last one was, no, they're not life-saving flotation devices. Thank you very much, Mickey Gordon.
I did ask the doctor that.
Yeah.
Will they keep her alive if she ever goes out of into the ocean?
What was great is they went into like the density of silicone versus water and
They
why
did.
they don't float.
They answered me scientifically.
I was like, I can't even. You entertained him. Now we're really in for it.
It was great.
It's going to
We
be a
had
whole bit now.
We had a great conversation about personal flotation devices.
Yeah.
I thought it was fantastic. All right, Mal, it's been an incredible conversation about the massive amount of information you learned about tits.
Yeah.
I know, guys, this was an
Sorry.
information-heavy episode.
Did I bore you guys to death? Because I'll show you my tits. I'm really sorry.
Well, that's that's the last thing we got to answer.
I know.
Are people going to get to see these puppies?
Yes. We're going to do before and afters. For sure. And during. I'm going to document this. I want this to be part of season 4, if our listeners will allow it. This is a personal journey. I want to put it out there, how I'm feeling physically, mentally, emotionally. Yeah.
You heard it here, folks. We're all coming on Mallory's tits.
Actually, that sounds really hot.
Or maybe just her tit journey.
Yeah. Come on my tits later.
Absolutely.
Okay.
You want to tell everybody where to find us? We'll come back with the Toy Box segment on the We Vibe Nova.
Awesome, guys. We're Casual Swinger everywhere. You can find us on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. Yeah, that's the other
That's the
one.
one.
We have a website, casualswinger.com. Feel free to shoot us a message, podcast at casualswinger.com. And if you want to check out our dating profiles, you can find us at Double Date Nation, SLS, SDC, and Cassidy.
All right. And that one more thing. If you guys haven't had a chance to go leave us a review on iTunes, we haven't had one in like 6 months. I don't think anyone's out there anymore.
Well, let me be more specific. If you want to say something nice, go leave it on the iTunes. If you don't have something nice, please email Mickey at casualswinger.com.
Now, if you have something mean to say, go say it to Jay.
Of Average Swingers. No, that's mean. Jay's a nice guy.
We love Jay. All right. We'll be back in a hot second with Toy Box. You've been listening to Casual Swinger. everybody. We're back with the season premiere of season 4. We're talking titties. It was a lot of fun, but now we're going to talk about Mallory's box.
Vagina.
What's in your box, Mel?
Hold on, let me reach in there and pull it out. Sound like I just.
Yeah,
sorry,
that
guys.
sounded. Yeah,
That was gross.
I mean, not hot. Womp womp.
No, but in my box this week is the WeVibe Nova 2. Best thing about being married to you and owning a sex toy store is the wonderful things I get to experiment with.
You mean I just buy random toys and throw them on the bed and go, "Hey, I got you something"?
Yeah, my vagina is a very happy.
I do a lot of that.
Self-service girl.
Well, here's what happened, right? So way back in the day, when you and I first got together, we went to some random sex toy store and I bought you a rabbit because you said you liked rabbits. And
well, no, I didn't know I did until you bought me that first one, and then I broke it with my vagina.
You did break it because they're only good for 100,000 miles. But, you loved that damn rabbit. So you loved rabbits. I misspoke, I guess. You liked rabbits after that. But you haven't had a rabbit in the longest time.
I guess. I don't know. I needed a new flavor. Maybe my palate changed. Just like.
Well, rabbit it started out as a Doc Johnson product that was patented. It had the spinning beads and the clitoral stimulator that looked like a bunny, which is why they called it a rabbit, and then the head that kind of rotated around. And I'm making these hand gestures like you can see me and you can't. But the rabbit actually became a style of toy.
Yes.
That both stimulates you internally and externally at the same time.
Yes.
So tell us about the Nova 2 and what you like about it now that they know it's a rabbit-style toy.
Yeah, it is a rabbit-style toy, and it kind of reminds me of like one half of a fleur-de-lis, because it's the WeVibe. It's curved, so you have the curved edge that vibrates, that sticks out. That's the clitoral stimulator, and then facing it and curving inward towards it, but longer, is the insertable portion that's actually flexible and posable.
Oh, wow. So it could be a G-spot simulator if you wanted.
Yes, it can be. They both independently operate as far as vibration goes, so you can have them both at the same time or do one or the other, which is great because there are some rabbit toys out there that do both at the same speed. So if it's you only have one option, up or down, fast or slow, or a mode at some point. And for me, I don't like that. I don't necessarily want the internal to vibrate as hard as the external, because I'm not really a big internal vibration girl. Maybe just a little bit if I'm in the mood for it, but definitely not as much as I like the vibration and intensity on my clit.
Okay, so your clit and your G-spot never agree.
No, they like, one likes Italian food, the other one likes Chinese food. They have different palates. But what I love about this, so it's posable, it's flexible, so it's really fucking comfortable. And that clitoral stimulation area, it's curved but flexible, but it gives you a nice amount of pressure. So if you are like inserting it, right, and you're kind of using it like a dildo, and you're going in and out, in and out, in and out, it's a wonderful sensation between the pressure and the vibrations to do so. The first time I used it, I did not use the insertables motor for the vibration. I came in like 5 minutes, not even. And that's a little rare because when I'm getting used to a toy, I'm just trying to figure it out and clunk around. I didn't mean to get off that fast. I just felt so good. I couldn't help myself.
Off you went.
Yeah. Yeah. So that one's kind of a staple, and it's a really wonderful toy for me. It's got to be durable. I tend to drop shit, especially when I'm coming. I'm usually on the edge of the bed. Thank God it's carpeted, but we still have cement floors. So sometimes I break shit. Or in the bathroom with a tile floor, break shit in there too.
Washing it.
Yeah. But I do like to use some of my toys in the shower or in the bathtub.
Okay.
This one's waterproof. So
100% waterproof, submersible even.
So exactly. I can run myself a bath and use it in there if I wanted to.
Hot damn.
Fucking love that. It also has an app, which most of the WeVibe stuff does.
We connect.
So we connect. So you can have the app, I can have the app and give you access to it. And you can use it remotely if I wanted to let you.
I can buzz your lady bits from a distance.
For us, I don't see that working out well because I'd be like, no, too fast. And you'd be like, hee.
Yes, I would.
Yeah. Or it'd be going off in my drawer randomly. I don't know. Anyways. But yeah, it's just a really, really awesome product. And it's got, what's the charge on it? 120 minutes.
Really?
Continuous use.
2 hours.
So 2 hours of continuous use.
And you got off in 5 minutes. So that is a lot of uses.
Yeah. Yeah. So if you're multi-orgasmic or don't remote or charge your toys a lot, it's totally fine. It's also got a travel lock. It's not going to vibrate in your carry-on.
And it is a 100% silicone body-safe toy.
Yes.
Which is a big deal if you know anything about us at Casual Toys. If we find out something's not body-safe, we get rid of it.
Yeah, and a lot like why I love my woman. Well, one of the reasons I love my womanizer, the ergonomic positioning. If I want to go for a marathon masturbation session, it's got to be comfortable for me to hold. Love the Hitachi Magic Wand, but that does not fall into that category.
Mm-mm.
Womanizer does a great job. WeVibe does a great job, and I have to say they went full boat with the ergonomic feature on that.
Yeah, it almost looks a little funny. It's so ergonomic.
It does. It doesn't look like your standard rabbit style toy.
No.
But it is super comfortable to hold, super comfortable to play with. I've done it on my side, my belly, and on my back.
Well, and I think
issues.
I believe that's the 4th rabbit style toy that I've brought you.
Uh-huh.
And it's the only one that made the rotation.
I was going to say it's the only one I've used more than once or twice.
Yeah. Because the dorsal, you didn't really care for. The Fun
dorsal,
Factory, you didn't care for.
You know what? The dorsal is a great quality item. Mm-hmm. It didn't fit my vagina. Like, it just doesn't fit the distance between where my vagina is and my clit. Mm-hmm. It just didn't work out. And to tilt it in that way was uncomfortable for me. It totally missed my G-spot. Like, it just didn't fit my body.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which what that boils down to here, folks, is that if we don't like it, we just don't talk about it. Yeah. We play with lots of toys here on Casual Swinger. We get them, we bring them into the bedroom, we try them out, and if
rough life,
it doesn't blow us away, we just don't tell you about it.
Yeah.
It's not we're gonna be negative about anybody. We're not gonna throw anybody under the bus. Wow, this is a huge piece of shit. Yeah. We don't do that.
Yeah.
We just tell you what's great. And the WeVibe Nova 2, that is a great toy.
It is a fantastic toy, and I was actually concerned because I like, I don't want to call them beefy, but like at least average size male, like dildos.
Like, you like the big penis.
I like at least an average penis. Mm-hmm. Like I don't use the skinny little dildos when I masturbate. I like, average to, large. Mm-hmm. And because of the size of the WeVibe one, I was like, ooh, I don't know if how that's going to work. Cause seems kind of thin. It tapers and it looks kind of thin. Mm-hmm. It was actually perfect.
Wow.
Yeah.
So they knew your vagina better than you did.
I was going to say there's got to be something with that tapered design where it's more bulbous in the middle that they know more than I do about my vagina.
I'm guessing there was probably some, sample testing done there. And
how do I
focus
get
group.
That fucking job?
Well, the problem is that you think about it, like 8 of the 10 things you stick in your vagina aren't awesome. Right. So like it may not be too much fun to be a tester.
Can you imagine the dinner conversation you would have? Hey, honey, how was your day? What did you stick in your vagina? Well, dear.
A corn cob covered in latex.
Apparently we're going to Iowa.
Oh, my gosh. Well, we have talked about a lot of shit here today, guys. And yes, this was an information-heavy episode where everything from boobs, titties, hooters, all the way down to the WeVibe Nova 2 in the Toy Box segment. This was Mallory's coming out party for season 4.
Thanks for sticking it out with me. I love you.
Thanks for sticking it in her, guys. No, okay, just me.
Dork.
I am a dork. But since we just told you guys how to find us, we're not going to bother you anymore with that sort of thing. You want to just say bye to everybody? See you in 2 weeks?
Bye, everybody. See you in 2 weeks. Love you.
All right, guys. We'll be back in a couple of weeks with more season 4. We're going to do everything we can to be on time for all 22 episodes of season 4.
You heard it here first.
Well, yeah, they hear it a lot. Doesn't mean we're telling the truth. Folks, this has been a blast. We'll see you next time. You've been listening to Casual Swinger.